bill is a pending disaster. I can talk to you about the medical stuff, and I can tell you what it does in the patient-doctor relationship because, as I've said before, it just dismembers it. But it's bigger than that. It's about every single family. It's about jobs. It's about the integrity of the nation. As I say, it's about our mental health. It is so depressing to get up in the morning and find out that there's a new tax. Every day there's a new tax, there's a new something. I think it's depressing to find out that your health care premium is going, off the roof when somebody promised you that it was going down. Companies do not know how to handle this. And quite frankly, the business decision is to not give health care to their employees, but is to actually just pay the penalty. It is the better business decision. So here we have business people trying to figure out ethical decision, moral decision. Do I take care of my employees' health care? Or do I save the company and just pay the penalty? That is not a good decision. That's a Sophie's choice. That's yucky. I want choice, but I want legitimate choices. And while the bill promised affordable care and it promised accessible care, it doesn't do that. In fact, it takes all of that away. It's made the premium more expensive. In fact, what we've seen is physicians who have been forced to sell their practices to hospitals. Patients are now going to the hospital to see the same doctor they saw in his office a month ago. Their bills are twice as much. Wall Street Journal wrote an article about that. New York Times wrote an article about that. Imagine, you did nothing. You went to the same doctor, same problem. All of a sudden your bill is double, all because of Obamacare? I mean, that's an abomination, if you will. So I think that the American public needs to start to really examine where this country is going. And they do have choices. Unfortunately, we were voting for hope and change. We wanted hope and change. We didn't get change. We got the same old politics. We got the same old stuff. We got the same old disappointment and the same old inbreeding and fighting and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we got some really horrific legislation with a promise that was not met. I think it's very, very dangerous. And quite frankly, my patients, every day, there's a new patient that comes into me to tell me how either they lost their job or their friend lost their job. That's not very inspiring, is it? That's not very hopeful. And yet that will only get worse. So this is one of those times when America needs to step back. I know that sometimes Mr. Romney is not as articulate as they would want him to be. I know that he's not out there like a kid doing Twitter and Facebook, and he doesn't relate quite as well. But I believe he will lead this nation in a better direction. I think that we have to take a step back and redirect this country.